My mom told me, she said, don't you get passionate talking to Mr. Van Johnson. Because you know you say things.
Yo, yeah. I came up through these streets, now who's running the show? Me. Ha ha, he, yeah. We topping the bill now. Topping the bill now. Stacking the bills now. Stacking them. Came up through these streets, now who's running the show? Me. Ha ha, he, yeah. We topping the bill now.
Look, as I have been screaming, the election's coming up, I'm worried that folks are gonna be sleeping and then mad, so we are trying to talk to the best people that we can in the world about what's happening and what we can do about it with the election. And so I am bringing to you, live and in effect, the amazing, the beautiful, the wonderful Bresha Webb in the house.
Oh, thank you. Yay!
I was trying to figure out how to introduce you. ER, Learning Town, Grey's Anatomy, love that girl, truth be told, Weeds,
Yes.
Marlon. Are you the hardest working sister in showbiz, yes or no?
You know, I like to secure several money bags because the money bags don't get themselves, if you know what I mean.
I understand, I understand. As a Baltimore sister, homegrown, hometown girl, talk to us a little bit about Freddie Gray and what that meant to you.
I mean, there's always injustice everywhere, but when it's in your city, and I mean, people always know The Wire to be Baltimore and just the injustice there, and they talk about it a lot on the show as well, just how the law enforcement plays such a big part into the drug, you know, everything, just the whole industry there and what they're doing. It's always been like this dark, you know, just two sides, you know? It's always this undercurrent of just mess. And so I think Freddie Gray was just the light and the reality of the situation, you know, and how everyone is hurting in the city. And there is no rightful place to go. You can't go to the cops because the cops are using people on the street for their own benefit. I mean, we were harming our own people. We were going into CVS and burning it up. I mean, being from Baltimore and seeing it on television and seeing my family be affected by it, it was really, really hard to watch.
It seems like your whole generation is sort of like much more aware when it comes to, you know, police brutality, criminal justice issues, all that kind of stuff. Do you feel like people are gonna vote? Is it making that translation yet, or do we have more work to do?
You know, it's such a hard subject talking to men of color. Specifically, when I talk to my cousins in Baltimore City. It's hard because they don't think that our voices matter. If they don't matter in the streets that we're raised on and to our law enforcement, then how is it gonna matter in the polls? So it's always me who registered to vote when I've officially turned 18. My parents have both been to college. They've really, you know, taught me the history of how hard it has been for blacks to vote in this country and such an opportunity. But there is this generational curse right now where our community doesn't believe that it could actually help us because we're not helping each other. And our community is all over the place. We're not helping. Like that whole moment in the 50s and 60s where black people relied on each other. You know, we came together for a certain cause. We'll come together for police brutality on Instagram for a post or two, and then by the next week it's gone. I mean, come on. You know, by the next time we talking about Lil Wayne's album or who we gonna shoot in the face or whatever. Now in this time when we actually see what our votes did, so many people didn't vote.
It had a negative.
And it had such a negative thing.
Kanye, like Trump, he has wearing a baseball cap. Don't you, what, no?
He needs his medicine.
Like, stop the cameras. Why you say Kanye needs his medicine? Listen, come on now. Let me stick up for him. Here is what he would say if he were here for himself. He would say, he's free to vote for who he wants to vote for.
Yes, he is.
Black folks have been voting for Democrats all this time.
Absolutely.
You just said the hood is still the hood. We had Obama.
The hood is still the hood, but I don't know what hood that is. I don't know what hood that is.
Which hood?
The hood that he's been living in for the past few years. I don't know what hood that is. Like, find elected officials that stand for something. Let our generation know about it, you know, and let us be the voice of the future. Not a small demographic that's making more than what we'll ever make, and he's a part of that. He's thinking about his bank, his pockets.
That's what you think? What are the issues that you wish politicians were hitting harder that might get your cousins to want to come out and vote? Because otherwise, I think you're gonna have a lot more people say either it doesn't matter at all, or we may as well give the Trump people a chance, or whatever. I mean, listen, some of the numbers, you're gonna be mad.
I know.
You're gonna be mad, but some of the numbers
show.
are showing that some black folks are starting to look over at the Trumps and saying, well, at least we're getting jobs, at least the economy is going well. I mean, that's starting to have an effect. So what do you think politicians should be talking about that would get people in your age group a little bit more interested in politics again?
Police brutality, being safe in your own community first and foremost, knowing who to rely on and who to trust.
That's a big issue.
That's a big issue.
I don't think a lot of Democrats understand.
It's a big issue.
For
My heart should not skip a beat when I hear sirens. And when I'm looking in my rearview mirror and I'm saying, I hope it's not me. I should not feel compelled to pull over when I see a young man being pulled over by the cops, just so I can make sure that he's okay. That is not a way to live.
You do that?
Yes.
Have you done that?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
It was this man who just got pulled over, and I just pulled over right along with him. And I stayed in the back, but I made sure that I watched everything, and I didn't know. I just was doing my duty.
Wow, so you now feel like it's so bad that your duty is to police the police.
Yes.
Wow. See,
We do it online, and we're still not getting justice. So if we can't get justice in the obvious way when we know that they're wrong, then why would we trust the polls? And I feel like that's what a lot of people in my community, in Baltimore City and all over, they're like, they don't care about us, so why should we care about whatever? But we have to think about our kids, we have to think about the future. I feel like there should be psychiatric assessment tests for all of these cops that are, if you wanna come to the academy and all of that, you have to go through a whole strenuous line of tests and psychiatry, like you have to go through a whole thing because you're gonna be policing people, and be in the community. Be from the community.
I used to work for President Obama, and I learned a lot about the federal government and stuff. And you could, if the young people rose up and insisted on it, you could condition federal dollars. You can't get a penny of federal money unless you have some kind of psychiatric screening and that kind of stuff. Believe it or not, in this country, there is no federal requirement that you not be crazy to be a police officer. There's no federal requirement that you not be a bigot to get it. You could be a crazy bigot and the federal government will give you just the same check in terms of your police department. So that's something that I think you guys would get excited about. I know that you disobey your parents a lot because I know your mama doesn't want you out here fighting like you've been fighting for women's issues in the workplace. Tell me about this passion that you have about women in the workplace, the whole Me Too, the whole Time's Up and all that type of stuff. Why is that so important to young women like you?
We're here. More than ever, we're making and we're putting as much effort and always have been as much as men, so we should be treated as such. We should be given the same amount of pay that a man should be giving. If I'm on set with another man and we're doing the same amount of work, give me my money.
Y'all agree with that?
Give me my bag.
Yeah.
Women now are working later and we're having children later and we're putting our careers first. And men need to respect that. In other countries, you talk to people in Australia, they get paid when they go on maternity leave. They get paid for having children, and they still go to work. So what's wrong with us? Canada, they got free health care. I'm okay with paying for taxes because I'm a believer. So if I see someone homeless, I want them to do better. I know that this is just a moment in their lives. They can be better. But if they don't have the opportunities and we raising up the rent, how are they going to get there? But women's rights, we have a lot to do, and men right now are on something. Trump administration is on one, and we need to get them the hell out.
Let me ask you, you had mentioned it earlier, and by the time this thing is being listened to, this whole Judge Kavanaugh thing might have gone one way or the other. But right now we're still in the middle of the upset and the turmoil.
I'm just sick of this white boy syndrome, this white boy, privilege syndrome. I didn't do anything. The water going all over the place. Come on now, calm down. You gonna be the judge? You gonna be the judge of Supreme? Really? Nah, man. Just cancel it right now. And it's like things like that. It's like when you go on a job interview, or you're on the other side of the seat, you know who's good for the job. You know who's good for the job. This man is not good for the job, even if this didn't happen. Even if. The way he's reacting.
So, I went to Yale. I went to Yale Law School. I think he graduated in the late 80s, and I got there in 1990. So I literally just missed the guy. And the thing about it is, that attitude that you saw, like, how dare you? I went to Yale.
That privilege just was coming up.
But that privilege, that way of being, it's not an accident.
No.
When I was there, I had never seen anything like it before. They put us all in a room. I think there was 130 people in my class. They had the dean come out. They had the president of the university come out. And they said, you will be the senators, the justices, the judges, the governors. We hadn't taken one class. Yeah. First day.
Well, she said it in her testimony. She said there was an elite class.
Yes. And the thing about it is, you can't tell people from the time they're this big how special and great they are, and then expect them to be able to behave like decent human beings with no checks and balances, no check on their power. And so when he started doing that, them near pounding the table, all that sort of stuff, I think it shocked a lot of Americans because ain't nobody gonna talk to a senator like that.
Okay.
I mean, even just a regular person, the janitor walking down the hall is not gonna talk to a senator like that. Nobody's gonna talk. But this dude was like, did you black out? Did you black out? And I was like, wow. And he still may make it. What does that say about why we need to vote and organize and build more power for people who don't have it?
Because the people that are making the decisions, it's not about the president. It's about who's sitting in the Senate, who's sitting and representing your state. Who are the judges? Who are the law enforcement? Like, who are these people that you're putting so much trust in? It's bigger than the president.
That's right.
It's bigger than that because the president's going to be whoever it is. They're going to choose one or the other. But it's about your community.
So all these other people who have all this power, but there is a sense that it's already rigged, it's already fixed.
No.
But if it was already rigged and already fixed, they wouldn't work so hard to keep us from voting. You know,
Well,
I mean, they work hard to keep us from voting.
They work very hard to keep us from voting. And I'll admit it. I'm one of those people that does my research the night before. Okay? I get my little pamphlet, honestly.
That's all right.
You know, I ask my friends, you know, you can show me a whole bunch of commercials, raise money, all this crap. I'm not gonna give this any energy until the night before.
Well, and listen, the night before is fine.
The night before, just do it.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, like, people feel so intimidated by,
have to get a PhD.
I don't know who it is, right?
You know, they got Google. You can just
got Google, you can just look it up.
NAACP, who y'all recommend and whatever it is.
Yes.
You know?
And you can take your phone in the booth, so even if you know somebody, you know a name you can't remember, you can look it up. It's no problem.
It's all good.
Just go.
I know you're out of time. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you so much. Give it up for this man.
Thank you so much.
Everything that you contribute to this culture, you know, I watch the news and I get angry, but sometimes when I look at what you say and how you defend us and how you are so eloquent in the way that you say things and you make it universal for everyone to understand. Even when you were talking about Trayvon Martin, you were talking about Meek Mills, and you were talking about everyone, it always stuck, you know, and if you didn't understand then, they understood when they heard your point of view.
Well,
so thank you.
Well, listen, I thank you very much, and listen, hopefully we can have you back. For me, I feel like my father taught me when he sent me off to Yale Law School. It's a true story. He said, "You're gonna be smarter than me the next time I see you." Because my father grew up in poverty. You know, when he died, we put his picture standing in front of Yale Law School the day I graduated, because he had achieved something, you know, to see his son do that. But when I went, he said, you know, you're gonna be smarter than I am when I see you next time. There are only two kind of smart people, though. There's smart people who take very simple things and make them sound very complicated to confuse people and enrich themselves. And there's smart people who take complicated stuff and make it sound simple to help our community. And you better be that kind of smart person.
Thank you.
So I'm trying to be that kind of smart person.
You are
Thank you very much. All right, listen. All right. This is Be Woke Vote. Me here for the messy truth. Got my sister here. You're here. Please go vote.
Go vote.
And give her some more love. Love you.
Go